My name is Sandra Beliski. I am the founder of Real World Learners and most recently the author of the Framework Math books. But what we're doing today is going over kind of a bird's eye view of the addition, subtraction, multiplication book. So I wanted to just put this out there, share it with anybody who kind of already has a background in math education and could benefit from just the huge overall bird's eye view of some strategies that really focus on building number sense with our students. So we're going to go deep dive into the world of number sense so that numbers make sense to us, make sense to our kids. What can we do to build a foundation so that when students are learning how to add 3 plus 2, we're setting them up for success all the way through, even when those numbers turn into fractions, when they turn into X's and Y's, and far beyond. So my focus with these books and with what I want to share with you all today is that we want to not just teach kids how to do arithmetic, because quite honestly, calculators can do arithmetic. We want to teach our students in whatever role we are to get deep into seeing how numbers work, and whatever we learn with single digits, we want it to be able to stretch to multiple digits, and then that will stretch naturally into algebra and beyond. So we want to get the mathematical thinking is the main focus. The actual knowing how to operate with numbers is almost a byproduct. Okay, so again, our big focus is moving beyond counting. That's absolutely foundational in the earlier years, but we're going to kind of jump in. So I'm covering volumes 2, 3, and 4. If you're familiar with my books, we're not covering foundations, we're not covering long division, but we're going to do a bird's eye view of the rest of it. What we're doing today is jumping straight to the abstract. So I'm going to do what I would not do with my students, but I know we're here with a group of teachers and parents. So I'm going to jump you guys straight to the abstract, but I want you to know that all of this is built on the hands-on and the pictorial. It's a very large, firm foundation first. And all of that is in the books and very thorough. But I know a lot of you wouldn't need for yourself the walkthrough in the books. You can just take, hopefully you can take what you're about to learn today and use it to kind of fill out your understanding, or use it as you're working with your kids. Okay, so in case this is new to you, what we're doing is the whole premise of everything that I'm doing, I know it's just blurring out here, is based on a Rec and Rec and 10 frames. Okay, so that's why I said they're the two best math manipulatives. There's a lot of value in base 10 blocks, in Cuisenaire rods, in everything, tangrams. There's so much value in every math manipulative. But for building number sense, the absolute best that I've found and that I've been working with are a Rec and Rec and 10 frames. And that's because they have the 5s in it, the hidden 5s that make all the world of difference. Okay, so let's jump in and get started here. So with addition, there's 4 strategies that you can use to add all single digit numbers. So counting all is kind of the very first thing that we would do. Beyond this, we're going into what we cover really deeply in the foundational levels. So kids really need to get that subitizing, where any number from 1 to 5, they can instantly see. And again, in a 10 frame or on a Rec and Rec, they instantly can see it because it's a predictable pattern. It's not just scattered objects. So if it's on a Rec and Rec, it's all the same color. If that whole group is there, then you know it's a 5. You don't have to count. If it's on a 10 frame, one whole row is 5. So when students get that visual, they can build everything else on it. 6 through 10, they know that it's 5 plus something else. And so when that's really ingrained in them, they're basically like maybe 90% of the way through everything they need to know for addition. So make a 5 and subitize. That would be something like 6 plus 3. When you see this on the Rec and Rec, they could see, oh, there's actually a 5 in there and a 4. So again, all of this is based on the Rec and Rec, but I'm taking you straight to the abstract. So they would know this is a known fact. A 5 and a 4 makes a 9. When the combinations of 10 are automatic, then a lot of other things come into play. This is what I highly recommend, is doing numberless math, especially with kids who are kind of have already developed math anxiety. Take the numbers out of it. So use your Rec and Rec. Just, I like to play clean it up, make it as nice and organized as possible. Let's make all the full groups that we can. So anywhere there's not a full group, you combine the 10s. So essentially what they're doing is they're combining the 10s, but they're doing it in really creative visual ways that gives them this intuition about how to add, and really builds in that intuitive sense of place value, where they see the tens and then they can carry that to the hundreds and beyond. Eventually you'll get to the point they can see it on paper. So they'll say, oh, there's a 10, there's a 9, but if we took one away from there, we would have a 10, and there's only 2 left. So there's 2 10s and a 2, so that's 22. Seeing place value, and they see it because it's not a separate lesson you teach them, but they've built their number sense in a way that's based on place value. So they know 83 is 8 and 3. And they know 25 is 20 and 5. Okay, this is called decomposing, but it's not a separate skill. It's just what happens when you build numbers. Okay, so then they would recognize that 80 and 20 is 100. And then the 3 and the 5 make an 8. So we have 108. Okay, so you can see it goes pretty quickly beyond the abstract into the mental math once the whole foundation has been laid. So you can't just jump to the abstract and be successful in most cases, because this is built on their mental view in their head of that reckon rec of the 100 beads in groups of 10s with the subgroups of 5s, all that good stuff. Okay, make a 10 and subitize is great if you have something like 9 plus 6. Again, build it so you can see that you're 1 shy of the 10. And again, all of this, as you're building it out with the students, give them lots of time to explore and discover and tell you in their own words. Lots of good math talks, because they'll come up with these solutions. But then after they do, you can kind of show them, okay, what we've discovered is really 4 strategies here, and that covers everything. Okay, so we'll make a 10 and subitize, and you can call it, then they know, again, 10 plus anything is a known fact, so 15. Okay, and then the way we would stretch that, 84 plus 62. Okay, if you're looking at that, you would see the 80 and the 60, and you would see there's 80 there. I can pull 20 off of this and move it over. So then I have 104, and I pulled 20 off, so I have 42. So when they see that, and you can't just jump to the abstract, but when you see it and you can build it, then they know that's 146. It may take a few steps in between, but this is the sped up version here. Okay, then I have a dotted line because a lot of textbooks, a lot of teachers use doubles kind of as a first step, and they just assume that doubles are a known fact. But in my experience, they're not. And all of the doubles facts can be solved with one of the 4 strategies above.